Good afternoon, Miami sports fans. Welcome back to the Miami Sports Break. It's Tuesday. We want to get you caught up on everything going on in the world of Miami sports. Dave Eversole here, joined as always by Jaccare Givens. Another big win for the Miami Dolphins, putting them at 7-4 now. Took care of the New York Jets 20-3. Wasn't an overly impressive game from the Dolphins, but you do what you got to do to get the win, and you move on to the next game. You win pretty convincingly going away towards the end of the game. The game was really never in doubt, the outcome, but could have been a better performance, I think, from the Dolphins overall, particularly on offense. So, Jock, what are your early takes on the result from the Jets game and how the Dolphins looked on Sunday?
Well, a win is a win. Let's just start there. So a win is a win. The Dolphins defense looked it pretty good. Was it? It was against a subpar offense. Xavien Howard caught his seventh interception of the season, which was very, very impressive. He's leading the league. I think I was having a debate about was he the best corner in the league right now, and I'm not gonna go that far because I'll take a couple of other guys over him for sure.
Who?
I'll take Jair Alexander, Marshawn Lattimore, um, Jalen Ramsey, Tre'Davious White, Stephon Gilmore.
I don't think White's better than him.
Tre'Davious White. No, Tre'Davious White is better.
All right. Okay.
So
That's good. I'll defer to you on the quarterback analysis. Of course,
yeah,
you play the position at a high level, but
like I said, is he top 10? Yes, but it's a couple of other guys that we would take over him if the Dolphins had a chance to trade Imano, they would take those guys over him. Yeah, but overall the defense showed up as expected. Raekwon Davis played very, very well. But he's been
half a
flashing
sack.
over. Yeah, he's been flashing over
First half.
the past few weeks anyway. So it was an impressive game for the defense. The offense, I'm a little worried about. I know we had the debate: is Tua or Fitzpatrick ready for the win now? Or who's better right now? And I still think Tua is the guy. Ryan Fitzpatrick did nothing yesterday to make me say like, hey, like he should start the rest of the season. But let's look at the positive side. The Dolphins are 7-4. The Raiders took a loss yesterday. They're in a good position, potentially with today's game with the Ravens and Steelers. Potentially, the Ravens can drop to 6-5. So we'll have to go ahead and look at it like that. But in my opinion, I think the Dolphins are fine. The offense just needs some fine tuning. Like they need to get weapons. Let's just be honest in what it is. Straight like that. In a giraffe, they need weapons, explosive guys, not just guys like I've seen the Najee Harris to Miami. No, they don't need guys. They need guys who are explosive with the ball in their hands. Who,
Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, Waddle, Travis Etienne, that puts fear in the defense. Because outside of Jakeem Grant, who do we have that you feel like, well, he'll take the top off? Or even at the running back position, like Matt Breida does have the home run hitting speed, but we have so many number 2 running backs. It's crazy. Like we need some ones. So we have a lot of good complementary guys, but we do need a lead back. So I think with the running game, how it's going, Chan Gailey, like I don't know. I think he needs to switch his offensive roles. Like when Tua's in, he doesn't open up the playbook as much. I think Fitzpatrick threw the ball like 38 times yesterday.
Yeah.
Tua's never
24,
had that.
39, 257.
Yeah, but Tua's never had that type of reign. And look what Tua does in half of the passing, attempts. So I do think it's just like I said, the offense is still a work in progress. But it was against the Jets. This is going to be the tough stretch. You got the Bengals. The Dolphins have to pull that game out, and then we start the real stretch of the season. Miami has a ceiling of 9 or 10 wins for me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed in not really an emphatic win as far as just kind of piling it on and really putting the game away. I mean, I don't think the Jets were really a threat in this game, but I would like to see Miami be a little bit more explosive. Dominant. I mean, Jakeem Grant is a real enigma because he shows such good flashes, but I don't think he gets enough targets to really become involved in the offense, like with that rhythm. Like Devontae Parker had a real good game, 8 catches for 119, and
Yeah,
he's
but
starting to see more volume. but there's the ball spread around to a lot of guys. Like you'll get Kasicki involved early, then you won't see much of him for long stretches. And Grant,
It's sort of like the Miami offenses both have the same issue. Like they have great tight ends, but they go to them early and then they go away, and then they come back, and then it's just no consistency at the weapon, like for the weapons, And you see that early in the season with the Hurricanes where they were struggling offensively. And the last 3 to 4 games that they had, they finally put it together. But Miami's winning; they're 7-4. They're ahead of a schedule in the rebuild. So let's look at hindsight. But yes, the offense is struggling, and it's evident. The running game needs improvement. You still got to add some depth to the O line. To see if
yeah,
you're going to shift Hunt inside. You have a lot of options, but the Dolphins' 2021 draft needs to be offense. No, the defense is fine. Maybe get a premier pass rusher, but this is really not the year for it. Outside of Gregory Rousseau is probably the most pure pass rusher we have, but I just think offensively is a problem.
I think Rousseau is a little bit of a reach in that, lower half of the top 10 in the draft. But I mean, Miami definitely needs, like you've always talked about, a one-on-one pass rusher. Ogba's been great as part of the scheme when they're bringing 5+ guys in pressure.
Free rusher.
That's when Miami's getting home. Yeah, you have a free rusher. I think Miami had 3 sacks yesterday, 7 hits on the quarterback, 4 tackles for loss. So they're making plays in the backfield as a collective. But like you said, there's not that Cam Wake type guy off the edge that's winning one-on-one. And with only 4 guys, you see that Darnold had a lot more time. So I think Josh Boyer had a real good game, the defensive coordinator for the Dolphins yesterday. I think called a real good game.
Nick Needham has been stepping up the last couple of weeks that he's been in there.
Yeah, got an interception. I think his 3rd career pick. So, and you like to see those guys. I wish Byron Jones would finally get his hands on one, but he's always in position. And I don't know why they keep picking on Howard. I just don't understand why they keep throwing the ball at Xavien Howard.
And the interception that he threw was just like, come on, Sam. Like, what are we doing here? Like, clear, great win off the line.
Perryman rounded it off a little bit, I think, too. I think the route was a little sloppy.
But he never had a chance, though. Never had
Well, X-Ray had a better route. I mean, like we talked about, his eyes and his route recognition, he knows what's going to happen there.
And he has great hands for a DB. Like, he really does. He's one of the few DBs that doesn't drop interceptions. Like, if he gets a chance, he's a 9 times out of 10 gonna. I mean, he dropped one in the game, obviously. Yeah, he would have had 2, but he has 7 picks. So you got to give him respect on that. He's a great cornerback, top 10 guy. Miami has 2 probably top 10 guys, top 10, top 15 guys. They're no lower than that. So they have probably one of the best tandems in the league.
The secondary's been really, really good. I think numbers are kind of misleading when you look at the Miami defense because you look at the game-changing plays that they're making. That's what's really making the difference. I think teams can get yards against the Dolphins. That's one thing. But, I mean, they're holding teams below, I think, 19 points a game.
That's today's NFL when you think about it. It's, it's a lot of – and college is going to the same thing. You can march up and down the field if you want to. That's fine, but we're giving you 3 points or you're getting no points in the red zone, 3, so that doesn't beat you,
Right.
So –
they're making teams work for it, too. I mean, you got to really put together a long drive and make multiple first downs. They're not giving up the big plays. And I think they're really the defense has kind of set the tone for this team. And that's Brian Flores' signature, obviously, being a defensive coach. And you like to see that imprint on the team. You like to see the team in the mold of the head coach. I think
team is very tough, and they're very tough. And
they're disciplined. They have very few pre-snap penalties. I think they have the 3rd fewest pre-snap penalties in the NFL. They're playing disciplined. They're playing smart. They just lack the talent. I just want to go back to the offense a little bit because I think a lot of the problem is just that over-the-top threat. There's nobody that's really going to take the top off a defense.
No.
There's not that Kenny Stills.
I'm a proponent of bringing him back, though.
Yeah, that's why I kind of dropped that in there. I think his skill set, I mean, he's going to run those 9s and he's going to go, basically. I think Miami needs a home run hitter. And Jakeem Grant is more of a intermediary field speed threat He's quicker in short area,
Yeah,
space across the middle, screens and slants, and even getting him the ball in jet sweeps and things like that.
yeah.
I don't think he's
Give him a chance to get going upfield, and
yeah. Give him the ball, I think, in space, closer to the line of scrimmage. He's not a one-on-one. I'm going to beat above average cornerback on the outside physically. And it's hard for him to blow by guys on the outside because they're just going to leverage him with technique a lot. And if they get their
yeah, and
hands
then
on him, it's done.
they just they play off against him,
Mm-hmm.
so they're giving him the cushion anyway. So
Right.
you know,
They're not just going to let him take off down the field. I just think that threat and the lack of a running game is limiting the
it's
offense.
it's hurting both quarterbacks. Like with
Mm-hmm.
Tua, like we're expecting this guy to go out there and throw for 400 or 500 yards, but hey, like teams are gearing up for that. Like they are ready for and prepared for that because they know Miami can't run the football. Like so.
So
But
what is the running game? Is it the line? Is it the backs? Is it the play calling? Is it all the above? Is it? I mean, there's a lot of things you can kind of point to say that.
Like I said, we have a lot of nice complementary guys. So Miami's running game is going to be by committee. It's going to be a lot of everybody's going to have their moment. I mean, I just don't they don't have a lead guy who you can depend on because
Washington looked pretty good yesterday, I thought. I think he had a little bit more explosiveness. He held onto the football, which was a plus yesterday. Because
yes,
Breda and Larry both coughed it up to the Jets to kind of
yes,
let them hang around.
yeah,
And that's
and
what you want to
think
see as a team finish a game.
And if we think about that, let's look at the win in totality. Dolphins turned it over twice. Jets team just not good enough to
Yeah, they can't
capitalize.
capitalize on that. Miami's defense basically just shut them down and took the ball right back. I think after one of those turnovers,
Yeah.
but I think you got to have some threat of the running game to open up the rest of the offense.
Washington looked, he looked good in his spell. But it's hard to run the ball on the Jets anyway. They have a decent run defense, so that's
Yeah,
not.
Greg Williams is going to throw a lot of things at you.
Yeah.
I think they took some of that Denver game too and kind of used that against
Yeah.
Miami, what they were doing on the front with Miami's line struggling with stunts and kind of any sort of game up front, they're struggling.
Okay, so presuming I think Miami beats the Bengals. I think they beat them. Then you got Kansas. You got Kansas City. It's gonna be a prime time.
I think we're gonna lose that game. I mean, let's not go
be
totally homer on there.
It's gonna be a prime time game. I think we get Tua back for that game, so I think you're gonna see the Mahomes and Tua.
You think Tua goes next week, or is it too early?
No. I think they're gonna send him out against the Bengals. I think he plays against Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean you should be able to win the game with Fitzpatrick under center against a really bad Cincinnati team. So you got KC and then
without Joe Burrow at that.
Yeah, and you saw their backup Allen really struggled to get anything going. Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon's on IR, so he's not going to be in the game. And Giovanni Bernard is just not gonna.
He's not the same guy. Yes, so. Miami has like I said, Miami 6-1. They had to finish 6-1 and make the playoffs. So I want to see that. I just want to see them win this game, and let's see. Do I think they're gonna beat Kansas City? No. Would I be shocked if they beat them? Yes. No.
Yeah,
I'm saying, I wouldn't be shocked to see them win because
they have to play a perfect game, basically a near perfect game.
It's just with Kansas City, you're not worried about their defense. You're worried about their offense.
Well, you saw what Tyreek Hill did, and so I mean, you think would Byron Jones be the one with that matchup on him? You think?
I mean, nobody really can cover Tyreek Hill one-on-one just because of the speed he brings to the table. It's too hard. I'm talking about a guy who's it's probably the fastest player. I played against him in college, so I know he's the fastest player I've ever played against, but I've seen in person. Legit, just 0 to 60 is just crazy.
He pulls away. You don't see people pull away from NFL defenses very often out in the field, and he's doing a backflip over the goal line. He's got that much time. It's a next level kind of speed with Hill, definitely.
Fastest player in the NFL.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to obviously do a lot of things with maybe rolling guys over there, and then you got
Yeah,
to worry
yeah.
about Kelsey and they have just so many
I'm
weapons.
curious to see what Flores and Josh does, just because like the Patriots used to be the blueprint to beat teams. I feel like that about Flores. I feel like Coach
Hmm.
like Flo has that type of same vibe to him. So let's see what he brings out to see. Now like that zero pressure look, I don't think that's gonna work
Yeah.
against them.
Well, there was
Cause
always take away their best guy, take away the best guy on their team. But the problem is they have two or three best guys
yeah,
on Kansas City.
and the thing is with Kansas City, they haven't even unleashed the run game yet on
Hmm.
people.
Yeah. So there's going to be a lot there. I mean, not to get ahead. I mean, obviously, it's on to Cincinnati, as the saying goes, and you can't overlook any game. I mean, it's an NFL team. Any team can lose on any given Sunday. So you can't
Correct.
really overlook a team. I mean, Miami went and lost to a bad Denver team. I wish we'd have got them this week instead without a quarterback.
I want to shout out to that kid though, Kendall Hilton. Hilton
Yeah.
is his name.
Yeah.
I want to give him a shout out because under all the circumstances that he went under, not giving no live game reps, never like he's played quarterback, but he had not even 24 hours to prepare
Yeah.
for a game, just to
NFL
go out.
quarterback.
Just to go out there and battle how he did, even though they lost convincingly, no matter the score, that takes guts and courage. He's
Hmm.
lived out a dream that many of us would probably wish and hope to do. Started the game as an NFL quarterback. Yes, it was bad, but the
Yeah.
NFL kind of set them up for failure there.
Yeah, I just think there's kind of a lot of standards. You see what's going on with the Pittsburgh Baltimore game and what's happened with New England. It just doesn't seem like there's a real clear standard with the NFL. It's kind of subjective. I know Denver had some issues with compliance with the quarterbacks as far as the mask protocols and all
Yeah, but
that.
they could have moved that game to Tuesday. Like, let's just be honest.
Yeah, well, I think the game is now moved to Wednesday. Is the latest was now going to be the deal with this
Steelers.
game. Yep, moved to
Wow,
Wednesday. So
wow.
it's just it's this season is kind of yeah, every week
It's a
is a new
crapshoot. It's a
adventure.
crapshoot.
Yeah, if you're going to even get to the next week, with some of these teams and
Do
what's
you?
going on.
What do you feel? What do you feel is wrong with Tua? Do you think he's seriously hurt? One and two. Do you feel like he gives Miami the best chance going forward?
Yeah, I think he's hurt. I don't think they're going to be cute with an injury. He's your franchise. I think you're going to err on the side of caution. You've got a more than capable shepherd for the game in Fitzpatrick. It's a winnable game with either quarterback you put out. Obviously, you see the result. Fitzpatrick is going to win the game for you most likely, and that's what happened. There's no reason. And I think if you have another similar type game with Cincinnati, you do the same thing. You let Tua heal another week to be ready for that big matchup. And yes, Tua has the highest ceiling, but the problem is I think with Miami is connecting all the pieces from Chan Gailey through the offense to Tua and how he's utilized on game
Yeah,
day.
it's sort of like they don't know how to use him yet and what's his best. Yeah.
Well, they're not taking the training wheels off the offense really, as far as the volume of passing. I mean, you look at 39 attempts for Fitzpatrick. That's 2 games for Tua. So you can't look at the air yards. I mean, you're just looking at the number of throws. I mean, it's if you gave Tua 39 attempts, I mean, he might have 450 yards. You don't know. So I think you've got to first of all find a running game to give
Yeah,
him his
they
whole
have to
skill set.
at least get him 80 yards rushing.
Yeah,
80.
I think, but you got to take one back and stick with him. You got to let one back get some kind of rhythm. You got to let one guy get 15 carries. I think you just can't keep switching guys out every
But
play, every series.
who are you gonna give that to? Is it
Right now, I
Washington?
I mean, I would give it right now. I would give it to Washington and maybe spell him with Breda. They're the only two that are going to give you any kind of explosiveness. I don't know how's Washington as a receiver. I don't really know.
Pretty good
You
pass
know,
catcher out of
he's
backfield.
yeah. I think Breda's maybe a little bit of a better receiver, but I think you've got to get one guy involved in the offense series by series and let him get lathered up. I mean, look at somebody like Frank Gore, who's a rhythm back, who just he's not going to
Well,
wow you with anything, but he's just going to
all backs are rhythm guys. Like you do have the occasional backs that can hit the home run, but it's a
Well,
rhythm
I think
down.
like a Kareem Hunt. I think he's more of a third down pass catching red zone type back. His rhythm is more like situationally
Yeah.
with the compliment to Nick Chubb there in Cleveland, who's a real run heavy team, and you see how they utilize their backs. I don't think Miami necessarily wants to trend to be a run heavy team. I think they want to be a
Man,
pretty balanced team, but you got to have
you have to
some
you
threat.
have to have a running game. Like I don't
Yes.
care what people say. Oh no, you need a running game just
Yeah.
so it can help you out. The running game helps you out a lot. It pushes you forward. Like it's demoralizing to a defense when you can't stop the run.
Well, the running game, the running is the finisher. You build a lead with a dynamic offense, a lot of times led by a passing attack. But as we saw with the Jets game in the second half, with Miami not really being able to put the nail in their coffin with those two fumbles and not being able to generate long 5, 6, 7 minute drives to eat clock and just
And also
finish.
you just look at, for instance, you can just look at the Chiefs. They win a Super Bowl. What did they first round pick be? A running back.
Yep.
You have to have the guy, and they really
Yeah.
got reassurance with Le'Veon Bell. You have to have it.
And two great pass catching backs.
Two great
So
pass
I
catching backs.
think that's the modern day NFL back is not really he's not a thumper. He's a guy he's an Alvin Kamara, he's a
And
Dalvin
and
Cook,
I
he's
and
a
I
guy that
and
can
I
get you involved in the passing game.
and I always think that about that. Like, should the Miami have called the Vikings or the Saints? When those two guys were unhappy, Cook and Kamara respectively,
Oh
and said,
God.
"Hey, what do you
Yes.
want for those guys with a contract in hand?"
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that they always say the running back position is one of the easiest to replace in the draft, and the career longevity for the running back position
I
isn't
don't,
typical, but
but now think about it. The longevity of running backs are gonna go up because it's less
yeah,
running. They're catching the
yeah,
ball more.
hmm
You know,
sure, they're prolonging their careers just by how they're used,
yeah.
and I think, and it's not you're not the guy going to have the guys running 25 times between the tackles anymore. That's just not the modern NFL, and I think, but you got to have a lead back, I think, but you got to have that second complementary
Well,
back to where if there's
Miami doesn't have to go out and get those guys. They just gotta get a lead back, and they have a
mhm.
lot of number two guys
They
that.
have a lot of number two
Yeah,
backs, which I
yes.
think they'll be fine with. You see those, but they're not gonna carry the team. I think you got to have the one guy that's going to be your number one lead guy, and then have some other guys with specific things. And I'd like to see some guys maybe in the wide receiver group like Callaway
Yeah,
get more involved a little
I
bit.
love to see him get more touches because he's produced in his limited play. So you do want to see that for a second.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think Miami's just going to take the win and move on to Cincinnati, and we're going to have a lot more on that on the network during the whole week. But for the last few minutes here, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about the Miami Hurricanes. It seems like it's been a while since we've seen Miami, but
2 long
yeah,
weeks.
news came out that they're going to play Duke this Saturday on December 5th at 8 p.m. The ACC network, go ahead and get it now. I think you can jump on like a Hulu free trial or something and grab that for the Miami Duke game. It's good to see them back, and I know we're going to have a lot more on the Six Rings Hurricane show Thursday night about the Hurricanes. But what are you looking to see from a Miami team that might be a little bit rusty and just glad to be back out there.
Well, just first, you just want to see them come out and take care of business. I mean, Duke's not a good team. I would have loved for them to get BYU. I would have loved that matchup with Zach Wilson, De'Aaron King, but
Mhm.
wishful thinking. Uh, so I love to see that, but just come out, take care of business. Run your game plan. Obviously, you've been out for 2 weeks. Uh, what is the team fully healthy? Are you still missing guys? It's going to be some of the questions that's going to be answered as well. Um, but just most important, just see a focused team because they still have a lot to play for. Even though Notre Dame and Clemson look like they're a lot for the ACC championship game, but you still have a lot to play for. You never know. Notre Dame can slip up and lose a game, so you just hope for the best. But just come out and take care of business. You still had a successful season. without reaching the ACC championship game, probably going to end up in the New Year's Six. So just
Mhm.
taking care of business, just seeing that team keep that same edge that they were playing with before they went away.
Yeah, all things considered, I mean, you really have to give Manny Diaz and the Hurricanes staff overall a lot of credit.
You gotta give every college football
Yeah,
team this year credit because
yeah,
NFL because this is tough. It's tough. COVID-19 is tough because you can be asymptomatic, but yes, you give credit to all those or everyone
yeah.
who's playing a sport, working. Give credit to all those because it's not easy.
No, it's these are unprecedented. There's no blueprint for what everybody is dealing with right now in society, and the world of sports is a nice escape, but it's just one part of the big picture. And you the first thing is obviously the priority and the health and safety of the kids and the coaches and everybody involved with the programs. And you just hope that there's an end in sight and that everybody's doing the right thing. And it's hard. I mean, talk about that. These are college kids, and they're gonna not
Yeah,
always make the
they're
best
gonna
decisions. But I think that strong leadership is going to help these teams do the right thing and be successful and just get through this. It's a kind of a lost season. Somebody's going to be a champion, national champion, a conference champion,
I
and
think Alabama's probably the best team though, in my opinion.
yeah, they're just it's a business for Alabama. I think they just kind of they're
Yeah,
kind of like the heat in the bubble. They're really
yeah.
just sort of
So
impervious to all. I mean, they don't even need Saban. He's at home yelling at his TV and God knows what else they're watching the game. But yeah, I just think those upper echelon teams are just kind of
so
it's all football for those guys, and they're obviously having a lot of success.
looking ahead in the ACC championship game. So Miami needs Notre Dame to lose. Looking at their schedule, I think they have schedule. I'm sorry guys. I think they got Syracuse and Wake Forest left.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
Yeah,
Syracuse is I mean Wake Forest is competitive, but
yeah. But I
I
mean,
don't think they're going to
can
beat
they
Notre
play?
Dame really.
Can they play a hell of a game? One interesting point though to think of is, do you think Notre Dame and Clemson play 3 times?
Oh, God, I hope not. That would just be nauseating. I don't think so. I just think a lot of things have
Because
to fall perfectly.
I think Clemson's gonna beat the hell out of them when they play them again.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, the ACC. I mean, obviously Notre Dame has kind of leapt into that second place that you were hoping Miami was going to get to this season. But what do you see the gap between? We know the gap between Miami and Clemson, but what do you think the gap is between Miami and Notre Dame?
Not that big. I think Miami could beat them. Just because
Yeah.
I'm gonna just be honest. Notre Dame's team is good, but the one position that's the biggest question mark for them is quarterback. Ian Book, you don't
Mhm.
trust him, so
Yeah,
that's
he
why
makes a lot of mistakes, but I mean, he's a tough, competitive kid. I
he's
mean, I'm not a
savvy. He
Notre
got
Dame fan.
savviness, but I think Miami could beat them.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, I think, is a pretty physical team, and those are sometimes the teams that give Miami problems. They're a big team up front, and they like to run the ball. They're a strong team. They got a lot of weapons and a real good defense. So, I mean, that would be a tough, low scoring game. I think that would be a real good game, Miami and Notre Dame, and would love to see that happen somehow. But just don't think it's in the cards this year. But yeah, they're pretty
Not this
close.
year, man.
But I want to see Miami just really take that leap and separate themselves from the rest of the pack the rest of the season, and then going to next year. It's a clean slate. I think then next year,
I think King's gonna return next year. I heard some rumblings that he probably come back for 2021.
then that would be big if Lawrence goes to the NFL
No,
and King.
but the thing is though, Clemson has no drop off when that kid leaves with DJ Ugu or whatever the hell his name is. Uga, or however you
Yeah,
say it.
I'm not even going there. But
He's a first round pick. He's a walking #1 pick, and there's no drop off between him and Lawrence. Like it's gonna be no drop off. Like you're gonna go and and it just sucks because Clemson has had a run of Deshaun Watson, Trevor
mhm.
Lawrence, and
Yeah.
now you get this kid in there.
Yeah, no, but that's what you need in college football. I think you look at the successful programs. Look at Alabama with Tua, and then with Mac Jones. I mean, you see,
Mac Jones is not that. He's not that good. He's
but
AJ
he's
McCarron.
playing at a very high level, though. Mac
Yeah.
Jones he's playing at a very high level within that offense.
Would you draft him in the first round?
No, but
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I'm just projecting him ahead. But you look, I mean, listen, I think quarterback is the one position where the gap between college and pros is the greatest. I think a lot of other positions transition to the NFL a little bit easier. I think like offensive tackle, probably cornerback, and QB are the toughest positions to really be
Yeah, like to
immediate
generate.
impact
Yeah.
unless you're elite right away. I think there's a little bit more of a learning curve with those positions than certain other positions, like maybe like a running back or wide receiver. Tight ends a lot to learn because of the blocking aspect of it. So you'll see like a lot of tight ends kind of take their
Yeah,
time to establish
I don't
themselves.
see, like I said, I don't see Clemson dropping off that far because that
Yeah,
kid he's ready.
but you
Like
gotta have hope, man.
he's
You've
a
you've
walking
watched Lawrence.
he's a walking first round pick, man. That
Yeah,
kid is
well,
he's ready right now. Like I don't think he even needs to play college no more. I think he needs to
mm,
get his body ready, but that's it because he's making every throw.
yeah. Well, Miami's got a good class coming in, so
Oh,
I think.
Miami's projecting well. I just think they have to find out the quarterback position with King. Like I
Mhm.
think King coming back another year helps them because they can go ahead and go after a big quarterback because you can really just promise him like, hey, you're gonna be the man next year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you come in 1 year and then you're ready to go. Like you bring in Jake Garcia or somebody like that.
Yeah,
Obviously, the cornerback position is a big concern with Miami's next class. So there's a lot going on there. I think you're going to have to see a big improvement from the defense to keep that team on track to take the next step. But
correct.
no, it's just good to have the Hurricanes back in the mix, and
It's
there's a lot
just
of good
good to
stuff
have
going on.
all. It's just good to have all of Miami like playing very well at this point.
Yeah, it's a better time for Miami sports overall than it has been a long time. I mean, the Marlins made the playoffs, the Heat were in the finals, the Dolphins look like they're
Playoff
ahead of
contention.
schedule. Yeah, I mean they're ahead of schedule as far as what the general consensus was of expectations where they are, and we'll see where the Hurricanes land in the mix. But I think we're going to wrap it up here. Want to thank Jaccare and everybody for watching the Miami Sports Break, and we're going to be back with another show on Thursday to preview a little bit of the Hurricanes and Dolphins, and also talk about everything else that's going on Miami sports. Make sure to follow
Also,
us.
NBA coming back in what another week?
Yeah, well, yeah, preseason I think starts the 11th.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's not going to be much of a break for the NBA. So I know the five on the floor and all the NBA crew we have here is going to have the best coverage for that. So definitely stay tuned with all the Heat breaking news coming up. And I want to thank everybody for checking us out.
All right.